All right, so let's see. You might have forgotten this too. So I have a negative cubic and it gave me a root. So I'm going to take this and change it to x plus 1. And then I'm going to divide 3 by 2 box. Let's see if we remember how to divide. So negative x cubed in here. X squared. Okay, so I have negative x squared and I need positive x squared. So I need 2. Does that make sense? I have 2x and I only need 1x, so I need to take away an x. And then that checks out. Okay, so for the moment, I have f of x equals x plus 1 negative x squared plus 2x minus 1. I'm trying to decide something. Right here, there's a decision that needs to be made. Can anyone tell me what the decision is? You can, I think either way is fine. I think there might be 2 ways to proceed. And I'm not talking about diamond and box versus quad formula. Jacob, you see it? Yeah, do I want to take a negative out and put it in the front or not? I don't really love diamond and box with a negative x squared. So what I did was I took the negative out in the front and then I switched the sign of everybody in here. And the only reason I did that is just because diamond and box is easier when x squared is positive. I missed you. It was too quiet that whole week you were gone. And we did a water bottle thing. You would have liked that. No, maybe. I didn't go outside. No. Okay. Okay, are there any questions about what I did so far? Do you guys see where I got the double from? Do you see why I wrote it the way I did? Are you just mesmerized with the amount that you've forgotten? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see. I have a single at -1 and a double at +1. And this is degree 3 negative a value. So if I have an odd degree, negative a, do I start at the top or the bottom? You're like, I knew this at one point, Mrs. Talbot. Top. So you go through the single, bounce off the double, through the single, bounce off the double. The left arrow is up and the right arrow is down. Are you criticizing the scale of my x-axis here? Hmm. Hmm. If it asks you for all of it, yes. Well, not. Is that better for you? This? That's a review. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. Right? A polynomial function of least degree in standard form. Oh, good. Standard form. That has the given zeros and through the given point. Okay, so I have one real root here, and I have a complex root here. Can you guys tell that that one's complex? Complex roots have to have a buddy. Do you remember? 2 plus 2y. Okay, so we have y equals, please don't make me regret letting you sit with somebody, please. I thought my first period, they're so nice, they can handle it. X minus 3. Okay, and then I'm going to do the top one. X minus 2 plus 2i. X minus 2 minus 2i is the bottom one. So x, switch sign, x, switch sign, switch sign, x, switch sign, switch sign. Okay, you always want to multiply the conjugates together first. So that's going to be a 3 by 3, but remember, we don't need to do the whole thing. Okay, so that's x squared, negative 2x, negative 2x, 4. Okay, and what would this be? So this would be negative 4i squared, which is positive 4. And when I combine like terms, I'm going to combine these two together and these two together. You guys see where the 8 came from? The 2 fourths? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do a 3 by 2 box. I hear whispering. Did I do something wrong? Are you sure? Did anybody actually get the same answer as me doing it themselves? No? I don't know, I just feel like that's early and I could mess up some kind of little negative or something. Okay. Now, what do I need to do next? What do you mean there's more? Well, I missed a whole half of the problem, did I not? Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to use a calculator here for sure. Did anybody else get 476? Where am I going to put this? Is it 1.4? It's 1.4, right? Do you really know? Are you just agreeing with me? It's 1.4 plus 4. Note to self, Mrs. Talbot, make your boxes smaller next period. Yeesh. Um, okay. I think we are done with the packet, so you guys can put the packets away. If anyone with a perfectionism problems, just gonna leave my compass over here and I will not judge you for coming over to borrow it. Just open it, has the tighten. And...
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Number 37. Love you. Work with your team to write the coordinates of point P on the unit circle shown below. Is there more than one way to determine the coordinates of point P? Be prepared to share your strategies with the class. I'm just going to do it with you, but if you could draw that, please, in your circle. So estimate what you think 34 degrees is. You can tell it sort of gave you an idea there. And then mark the 34 degrees in the circle. Put a 1 on the radius and then mark the point P. Here's mine. Okay. Now, it wants us to find the coordinates. Coordinates are X and then Y, correct? Okay, so I'm going to give us a hint. There's your hint. Okay, so let's find Y first. I know that's weird. I'm going to leave some space, but this is what we practiced before we left our break. So which trig function would I need to find Y? Sine. Sine 34 degrees equals Y over 1. So opposite over hypotenuse. Sine 34 degrees equals Y. And just for time's sake, is it okay if we just go with my calculation? So it's 0.559 equals Y. Okay, knowing what you know about this, what would I use to find X? Which trig function? I'm assuming I did not have a Y already, so just don't look at this. Cosine. Adjacent over hypotenuse. And cosine of 34 degrees equals 0.829. Okay, so that means the point P is at the coordinate 0.829 comma 0.559, which might seem weird to you, except for if you remember that the radius is 1, and that has to be the longest side because it's the hypotenuse, so that makes sense. Okay, now what I want you guys to do is a little bit of review. So put 34 degrees right there next to point P. A little bit of review from before. From the week you were gone, honey. Okay, what is the reference angle for an angle that is 34 degrees in the first quadrant? This is a question that's so easy that it's hard. 34 degrees. The reference angle is always whatever it is in quadrant 1. Okay, now quadrant 2. How do I find the angle in quadrant 2? Anybody remember? Okay, what if I did this? Are people feeding you answers over there? You weren't even here. $146. Okay, what about quadrant 3? Oh, close. No. Just keep throwing stuff out there. 180 plus. Three six. Yep. Okay, last question for this. What is a coterminal angle to 34 degrees? Yes. 394. Great job. Okay, so there's your last week review. Okay, so now I want you guys to draw me. We're just gonna draw a generic picture here. So put a point anywhere in the first quadrant for me. Draw a radius. We're gonna call this point Q for fun. And I'm going to put theta right there. Do you guys know what theta is? Yes. It's a Greek symbol for angles. Perfect. You could not have said that any better. Okay, so would you guys agree with me that if the point Q, and this is just some random point Q, has the coordinates x, y, that the coordinates would be cosine of the angle, comma, sine of the angle from our work up here. And it doesn't really matter what the angle is. We could find the coordinate by doing the cosine for x and the sine for y. And the reason is because cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse and the sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Yes, honey? Is it always yeah, okay. So in number 39, we're going to write ourselves a little thing in words. Cosine gives you the base of the triangle and the x coordinate. So cosine base x. Sine gives you the height of the triangle and the y coordinate. So cosine is x, sine is y. And you can remember them because x and y are in alphabetical order and cosine and sine are in alphabetical order. So if you just remember C comes before S in the alphabet, then you can remember C comes before X, S in the coordinate. I don't do that. I let them say whatever. Um, which is kind of a mistake this year, but that's fine. Hmm? Oh. Right, you guys, this is the rest of it. While you're making this, I'm gonna come around and collect your cards from your table. So you can have everything. Maybe it's an omen of what I should do next period. Okay, once you're done creating this, what I'd like you to do is mentally prepare yourself, be angry, and then look at your stamp sheet at what the homework is. Mentally prepare for anger, and then look at the stamp sheet. Oh, tomorrow morning I'm gonna show the key for that, just so. Okay. I feel your general anger in my direction and I accept it. Okay. All right, now let's finish this. Pythagorean identity. Well, it's just a fancy word for Pythagorean theorem, but it has different letters than you're used to. Okay, so can you guys pretend that there's a circle here? Just like the ones that we made up in number 37 and 38. And so this is X and this is Y because that's X and that's Y. So over and up. And then for the hypotenuse, we don't call it C for this, we call it R. Can you guys tell me why it's R? Why is it named R? Radius, yeah. So if you guys can keep in mind that that's R and x and y, then Pythagorean identity is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. It's nothing new. It's just a change of letters for our purposes here. Now, number 41, I'm just going to warn you, has some need for you to know how to do some fractions. If you don't know how to do fractions, then I suggest that you make up a couple of these and practice them because fractions are going to be important. Okay. For number 41, I'm just going to draw a generic triangle in my circle. Notice how I made the triangle touch the circle. When I give you the quiz or test, for some reason, there's going to be a bunch of kids who like put the triangle halfway out or put the triangle way past the circle, and I have no idea why. It's supposed to touch the anyway. Okay, also, the triangle should be a piece of the bow tie. It should not connect with the y-axis. It should connect with the x-axis. It should always look like this. So if it's not a piece of a bow tie, it's not the correct triangle. Okay. Okay. So now let's set this up. So first thing I'm going to say is cosine is x. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up here just to remind you. Cosine is the base of the triangle and the x coordinate. That means that I'm going to put 3/4 on x. And the reason is because it's cosine. So if you want to put a little x there as a reminder, cosine is x. This is the radius, which is 1. I'm going to put theta here. And then this is y. So when it says find sine of theta, it's saying find y. So you translate that in your mind, oh, it's just Pythagorean theorem with a fraction in it. Okay, so 3/4 squared plus y squared equals 1 squared. Okay, now let's be very careful with our fractions. There's some fraction-y oriented stuff here. When you square a fraction, you need to square the top and the bottom. So this is 9/16 plus y squared equals 1 squared is 1. Okay, you know how I have suggestions for most success? The next step I would do if I were you would be to take the 1 and immediately change it to 16/16. And it doesn't matter what 1 is, you can change it to anything over itself, just whatever the denominator is over here. Okay, now minus 9/16 from both sides. And then you have a common denominator, so you can subtract. Okay, so I'm going to move that up here. So there's some stuff. We're not done. Square root both sides. And you have y equals, now let's be very careful here. Square rooting means plus or minus. And then you split this into 2 pieces. This is the square root of 7/4. If you need to, if you can't make that jump, do this off to the side so you can see what I did there. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is decide if I'm in quadrant 1 here, do I want the positive one or the negative one? Positive. So my answer is sine of theta equals square root of 7/4 because it asked me for sine of theta. So I need to pick which one of those. And then Q is just the coordinate. So coordinate goes cosine, then sine. So cosine, then sine. Okay, can you guys find the homework, please, in your packet? Oh, also I have a joke for you. And I'm gonna ruin something for you on your phone. Okay. So we just did 3741 coordinates on the unit circle and Pythagorean identity. And here is your homework is the quiz one review. Here's your joke. It's not sine of x, it's Do you know that the sun actually moves in a sine wave? And did you know? Now I'm gonna ruin the weather app. Ruining it. Ruining it. Here we go. Mr. Salvit. Ruining our beautiful technology that we love so dearly with over in the pocket thing. You ever noticed? No, not that. This is a sine wave. The line means like midday, like noon, I think, or is that sunrise? Yeah, this is sunrise and that's sunset.
Oh, so then the dark line is like the moon.
Well, the dark line is when the sun is behind the earth.
That's when the moon comes out.
There's no moon on this picture. It's just the sun. So this is sun going up and coming down and then sun behind the earth and then there's math in your phone. No. Don't put son of 0 on your next test, please. Okay, so let's talk about the quiz review. Take a look at it. Okay. Do you know how to do these? We just did this in the warm-ups. Okay, couple of things. This first one, this is x plus 5/3, but what do we do to make it easier on ourselves? Yeah, so make this 3x plus 5, divide by that, it'll make your life so much easier. Okay, this one. It's a 4th power, it's a degree 4, but they only gave you one root. But what do you notice? Does anybody see anything? That's true. There's a greatest common factor of x in this one. So take an x out first. So now you're not missing a term anymore. And divide by this thing, the cubic. Okay, move down to 3 through 6. Yeah, these are the best ones. Okay, so just a reminder, this is 0, 90, 180, 270, and all you have to do is sort of estimate it and make an arrow. That's it. Do you guys see what I mean? Those should take you like 10 seconds each tops. Okay, flip. Okay, this is what we did right here. So where you name the reference angle, which is the thing in the first quadrant, and then find the other 3 quadrants. And then name something coterminal. You can draw a picture if you want to, you don't have to, but it's this thing right here. Okay. And then these are the boxes, the thing that we just did, but there's no A value to find in these. Yeah.
That's the first one.
Oh, yeah. I changed it to 3x plus 5 to make it easier to divide. It's been a while since we've done that.